and we were down together in the Baja, and he just looked at me and he said, Governor, he said, what do you know about the murder of Abraham Lincoln? What were you taught in school? And I said, well, what I recall that I was taught in school is that Abraham and his wife went to the movie theater, the Ford Theater, and that John Wilkes Booth snuck up behind him, shot him in the head, tried to jump from the balcony, hooked his leg on something or other, broke his leg. They trailed him to a cabin and killed him, burnt him, or whatever. I said, that's what I was taught. And Dick said to me, so they never taught you that there were actually 7 people arrested, tried, and convicted for the assassination of Abraham Lincoln and the attempt on Ulysses S. Grant and Vice President Johnson? I said, I never heard a word about that till you told me that right now. And so what causes me concern is that, I don't know, why don't we put that in our school books about what really happened, that there was this literal attempt from the Confederacy to assassinate 3 of the top Union leaders, the president, the vice president, and General Grant.
Yeah, the issue is, why isn't this put in school books, regardless of what side of this you're on?
Why don't they write the truth about history? And it scares me to death to think, okay, what can you believe in our history books that our children are reading today? You know, are they going to continue to tell us that Lee Harvey Oswald killed Jack Kennedy when there's enough evidence out there that indicates if he did take part in it, he certainly didn't do it alone?
Well, Governor, here's another one. It is mainline history, even in Shire's Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, Pulitzer Prize winning. It's in all the major mainline history books, but it's never on Discovery Channel, History Channel, the news. Did you know that the British and U.S. governments actually funded Hitler, that Edward VIII, the king, was a Nazi, had to escape Germany when the war started, and that the West basically told Hitler to go ahead and do what he did, that they were going to back him, and then they turned against him? I mean, Hitler's still evil. The point is that that's why they let the British escape at Dunkirk and all that. That's why the Reichsfuhrer came in and parachuted into England with a peace treaty saying, I have the peace treaty. You know, why are you doing this? We had a deal.
Alex, I have to tell you, I don't know of any of that. I have to claim ignorance. I've never studied it. I probably should. But, you know, there's only so many hours in the day. And
well, no, exactly. I'm saying you're a prominent guy. Get your writer to look into that, because that's something that is mainline Pulitzer Prize. It's just in there, though, like it's no big deal. It's kind of like an elephant in the living room, and nobody's even pointing it out.
Yeah, you can't see the forest for the trees.
Absolutely. Did you get enough?
Interesting stuff. No, the book we're going to write, though, is going to deal with multiple conspiracies down through the years, and, you know, and cover them, and just, you know, hopefully make people think a little bit and realize, because I still sit back and say, you're telling me all the assassinations of the 60s were all done by lone nuts? You know, well, I lived through then, and I just can't believe that there wasn't one more person involved than who they told us.
Well, it's now come out that Patty Hearst and the Weathermen, that was all staged. That's mainstream declassified. And every time I hear about mad bombers that are about to blow something up, I was in the shower this morning with the radio on, listening to NPR, and they admitted this latest group of idiots they found in New York. They admit, oh, by the way, the informants set up the group, were leading it, and gave them the explosives.
Well, again, Alex, you know more than I do on that stuff. I can't comment on it because I have no idea.
Well, you're a very smart guy, and you've got a lot of courage, Jesse, and you've certainly been learning a lot of stuff I didn't know about, and you've taught me quite a bit about things that have happened.
You got to remember, Alex, you're here all the time now. I take a leave of absence for 6 months.
Well, I think that's good. I think you deserve it after all you've done. Speaking of that, they keep asking you, are you going to run for the Senate? Are you going to run for governor? Are you ever going to run for office again?
At this time, no. I don't, but I never say never because, you know, I can't predict the future. I can't predict if something would happen that would inspire me to do it again. But right now, I don't have the fire in my belly to go for, like, the Senate race, you know, it really came down to flipping a coin. I let destiny determine it. But the other main reason was I thought about, you know, at my age now, that's 6 years of my life that I got to go hang out with people I don't even like.
Yeah, they are.
That's difficult to do, you know, at this point in my life. I've only got so many more years on the planet. You know, I'm closing in on 60 years old, and I want to enjoy myself. And to go out there and hang around with them people for 6 years, that would be like, why don't I just go put myself in prison?
Well, Governor Ventura, I understand, but that's the problem. Evil people will scrabble and claw to get power, will gnaw through steel to get it. And then good guys like you, they don't want power, so they don't, they do something to fight the evil, but then, at a certain point get so disgusted, by the elitists that they don't even want to get involved with them. And I don't blame you.
If I get that disgusted, I'll be back.
Absolutely. So that's a little hint that you're going to be back in the future. Well, we'll talk a lot coming up on June 1st. I still need to get with you and find out exactly what hour of the show you want to come on then. But Governor Ventura, the book is out in paperback. In closing, you talk about on TV waterboarding Dick Cheney. I mean, if this guy says it's so great, it's so wonderful, they admit 90+% of the people at Guantanamo Bay, totally innocent, just picked up by bounty hunters that get $25,000 apiece. Most of them 14, 15 years old. The intelligence they used to scare everybody came from torture. I think if Cheney says waterboarding's no big deal, maybe he should show us that it's no big deal. Can you comment on that?
Well, first of all, I made the quote. I think I said it on The View that if you, I said it on Larry King. That if you gave me a waterboard Dick Cheney in 1 hour, I'd have him confessing to the Tate murders. Well, I have to amend that, though, Alex. I don't think I could accomplish that. You know why?
Why?
His heart ain't good enough. He wouldn't be alive for an hour to even confess.
Exactly.
And that tells you how bad waterboarding is, because I do not believe Dick Cheney physically could take it. With the heart that he has.
Well, what about the stuff
for him to advocate doing this to people and for calling it another name called enhanced interrogation? Well, that's baloney, because torture is torture, and they're like jury picking. They go, well, you can't torture a person from the United States, but if the person comes from somewhere else in the world, torture's okay. That
was my last question. What about the Department of Homeland Security documents that came out listing conservatives, gun owners, returning veterans as the #1 terror threat, and that Homeland Security set up for them? And then it made the news, we broke that when we were out having an In the Fed rally with Ron Paul, the Army was spying on us in Texas.
Well, that's because you're in Texas. You can't do nothing in Texas.
No, but what do you think of that DHS report, trying to list the American people as the terrorist?
Well, again, I don't know, Alex. That's only stuff I can only speak to stuff that, and it's not that I don't believe you, but I can only speak to stuff that I actually know about, and I'll say this.
Yeah, no, you have been down in Mexico, yeah. Go ahead.
If we're not vigilant, we're going to lose our freedoms, because it's a natural progression. If you look down through the annals of history, you will always see it happen, and unless the citizenry takes control. In fact, let me say this, Alex, and I'll finish like this. They won't release the photos of our torture, right?
Yes.
Well, then how about if I step forward on behalf of the taxpayers and the citizens of the great United States of America, and I want to go public with this, and I'll let you break it. I will represent us. Let me go where these photos are. Let me go inside and see them, and let me come out and report back as to what these photos are. I think I have the right to do that. I think they have no right to keep me from that. You know why? I pay their salary. And I'm a governor, I'm a mayor, I'm a former Navy SEAL, I had a top secret security clearance. I think I'm fully qualified to walk in and view these photos on
Jesse, so we can finish. I'm going to go 1 minute. I'm going to go 1 minute over right now. We're going to keep on the web. Transmitting at Infowars.com for 1 minute. We're going to cut that feed. John, do I have Jesse there? Yeah, Governor, we had to end the main thing on the AM&FM, but we've still got tens of thousands on the internet listening, and then I'm going to cut that transmission in a moment and say bye to you off air because I want to know where to send something that you were asking for. But finish your statement. We're still on the internet, still at prisonplanet.tv.
Well, my statement was, again, I will go on behalf of the American people, and let me go view these pictures they won't let us see on torture.
Yeah, you're a governor and also a populist figure. He's very popular in the polls. That's a good idea.
Let me go in and look at them, and I'll come out and I'll report to the public whether, what it is, why we shouldn't be able to see them. Because I understand it could infuriate the enemy, but I'm not the enemy. Well, and therefore, I think I have every right to see these photos in private.
Well, Governor, let me just tell you in closing what is in them, because these photos were seen, as you know, by Congress and members of the Senate. It is children being raped videos. It is photos of children being raped in front of their parents. And Obama was going to release some whitewashed ones, and then it was decided those were too hardcore. But Cy Hirsch, you can just Google Cy Hirsch, New Yorker raping boys, and or interrogations raping children, and it is confirmed. General Tagumbu, the American general, he's Filipino, he did the Army report, 3-star general, where they said all that was done. So we have an Army report about those, but yeah, that would be important to send you in there. But that was the question I was going to ask. That's how bad these crimes get, as I told you 6 months ago when you were here in Austin. What should be done? I mean, is that a pretty bad crime, raping kids in front of their parents?
Yeah, I would think so. To me, all torture is a bad crime. But again, I'll reserve comment.